What's going on, guys, and welcome back. Hope you're having a good one. I play a lot of Patriot decks if you've been watching the channel for a while, all the way back since the early beta. But today's deck might be my favorite. Patriot Casino might have luck involved, but it's surprisingly consistent, and it's built to play well against Galactus, Sandman, and a lot of the decks that are in the current meta at the moment. Now, Patriot Casino's cards sacrifice early turns to give you enormous power, consistent luck, and dependable plays to outmatch your opponents on the ladder. Now, today we'll be teaching you two different decks, and it's going to depend on what you like to play. One that builds tall in power and the other one wide, and this is going to depend on what decks you lose to more often when climbing ranks in Marvel Snap. Now, the deck is all about combining the raw ongoing abilities with the consistent power that Patriot provides. Now, we have two options here for our only low-cost cards in the deck, both coming with pros and cons. Sunspot is built to have some synergy with the deck with both Wave and She-Hulk, and gives you the ability to skip turns with no pressure. Whereas Wasp, on the other hand, is another Patriot card, can be played right before Sandman, or you can go and have a free rotate with Lockjaw. I go back and forth who I like more, but surprisingly, Sunspot performs a little bit better. Continuing right along, we have Patriot, and obviously he is the face of the deck, but opposed to other decks that he's in within his archetype, he's not the only win condition within the deck. Wasp, Rocks, Abomination, Hulk, and Dr. Doom are your main Patriot cards, but the deck still works great if you decide you want more like Misty Knight, Cyclops, or Shocker. And most notably, we don't have Mystique in the deck because we don't want to leave any more RNG on the table than that's already there. Next up, we continue right along with the good dog, Lockjaw, and he's one of our two casino cards within the deck. Now, Lockjaw has nothing but value in this deck, as everything that cycles out of him is going to have great value with how the deck is built. Even with his recent adjustment of deck cycling once per turn, this actually helps him within the deck and not limits him. In the case of something like Onslaught, we can then play Wasp and then Patriot to stack that ongoing bonus. I'll go much more into detail about Lockjaw when we get to the turn-by-turn section. Now, for our next 3-cost card, we have Wave, and she is our insurance if we don't grab Lockjaw and or Jubilee. Now, Wave is typically used if we pull bad opening hands, full of our high-cost cards that we would have liked to cycle out of Lockjaw or come from Jubilee. But in addition to that as well, we can also play her obviously on turn 5 to pair with the She-Hulk in the deck, really limiting our opponent and giving us a maximum value play. Now, typically, I have a couple favorite cards that I love to wave into, both Dr. Doom and Onslaught. I feel like they keep our opponent on their toes, and they can't Shang-Chi them with their enormous power, and we can do a lot off of those cards alone, like play Iron Man or Patriot into them. And lastly with Wave is I typically love to play her into my Lockjaw because A, we get the chance to see her again, and her effect is going to usually benefit us more than the opponent. Now, moving on, we have Debrii, who's not in every version of the deck, but she is our pure Galactus counter and a great way to clog the board. Right now, the meta is Galactus, obviously Sandman, and or cards that require a bunch of space, and Debrii is going to work against all of those. With Sandman, we're going to get Rocks out that we can boost up, giving us a large advantage in both priority and power. Obviously, Galactus, she's going to clog the lane, and we're going to clog lanes for those combo decks, so really good inclusion, but again, she doesn't go into every deck, as it can be a little weird with her and Lockjaw together. Now, it has been a while since we've been able to feature Jubilee into one of our decks where she feels right at home, and she is our second casino card here that people might want to switch out. However, she has prime synergy with Lockjaw, she has good utility against Sandman, and the deck design as a whole makes her a great addition into Patriot Casino. Now, hot damn, if you were to tell me we were heading into a Super Skrull style meta, I would have never believed you a month ago. This card is bonkers at the moment with the sheer amount of ongoing cards that are floating around the Marvel Snap ladder. He's our Galactus counter to copy Null, Mr. Negative counter to copy Iron Man, and serves as a good threat against things like Devil Dinosaur. I can't say enough good things about Super Skrull, and we'll go into more depth in the turn-by-turn. Next up, let's talk about Iron Man, who's going to be one of our high-cost roll cards to take out. And I just love Iron Man more, and I think that he fits perfectly into the meta right now as well. He's our second Galactus counter, a lane winner by himself, especially with something like Onslaught, and it's one of my favorite cards to pull out of Lockjaw early because it gives us a bunch of different things and options during the match. Now, we can also just play him simply on turn 5 and feed into that lane on turn 6 with something like Dr. Doom or whatever can come out of Patriot. He can get the job done with not a lot of power and hold a lane all by himself. Now, I'll say this in a turn-by-turn, but guys, really make sure that if you think you're playing a Galactus, this is one of your big ticket winners to go and beat that deck. So you want to save it in your hand if it's still there. Don't play it on turn 5 and guess where they're going to play Galactus. Simply play a pretty good card, spread yourself out, and then play this on turn 6. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the new card of the week in Abomination. Odds are you have rarely played and or seen him, and who the hell is putting him in decks? However, he's a free 9-power card and works perfectly in this Patriot Casino. We can almost always get him past that 9 power to be a 5-cost 11 or even a 5-cost 13, which is insane. And on top of that, he can stack tall to deal with those Sandman decks if we can only play 1 card per turn. Now, you can swap him out for other ongoing options, but I find myself liking him more and more as I play with him, and he is a staple right now in the deck. Dr. Freaking Doom, guys. What a perfect card to put into the Patriot Casino, as the Doom bots are going to be affected by Patriot. Now, not only that, we can have him come out of Lockjaw early, and that's a huge priority presence right off the bat, but we can also cycle him into Lockjaw to go and throw bots in other lanes and then switch out for a larger card. Dr. Doom is obviously one of the main win conditions, and it helps us beat decks that spread wide over tall. He's pretty much a must include and is really the gasoline that fuels the deck. Next up is Onslaught, who doesn't see a lot of play, but I have to say, his presence on the board might be one of the most scary cards out there because of the different things that you can do with him. Again, Onslaught is what gives this deck so much of a punch. If you pull this bad boy out and you stack on Iron Man, Blue Marvel, or Patriot, like, it's GG. You're probably going to win. Now, there are other cards you can slot in. If you're daring, you can go with something like Omega Red, Captain America. There's some other low-cost options. But again, the way the deck is built, you want to focus on those big ongoing cards, and then you would have this stack on top. Now, finally, guys, we get to play a deck with Hulk, and it doesn't feel clunky and or that we're just playing him out of nowhere. He's a 6-cost, 12-power card that we can get up reliably to 14, even 16 power. But on top of that, you can get him to 24 in a lane with Iron Man. He's a great card to cheat out early via Lockjaw or Jubilee. He just feels really solid in the deck. And again, even better than Abomination, he helps us stack tall and or is great against a last play of the game versus something like Galactus. Really good to play on the last turn of the game, and if it cheats out of Lockjaw, like, even better. Solid card all around, and you finally get to use the Hulk. Now, as I alluded to before, this deck can go both tall and wide, and depending on your playstyle, you can change the replacement options to fit it. Now, most likely, you're going to want to go with both Sunspot and She-Hulk. Naturally, they fit into the deck with Wave. And I also have Super Skrull in the build to go tall in power against those Sandman and Galactus decks. Or you can go with the Wasp for the free play in Lockjaw, Debrii, and Blue Marvel. And that's going to spread your power wide instead of just concentrated on 2 lanes. They both play differently. For me, the tall worked a lot better, but the wide version as well is going to be successful depending on the decks that you go up in the ladder and your rank. So as you can see, we have a bunch of just big power cards, right? But all of these make a lot of sense. You can go with Ultron. He's a super risky play, but he could definitely pay off. If you have nothing else going for you and you have Patriot in the deck, Ultron can be a card that you can slot in there. Obviously, Infinite can go into the Sunspot and She-Hulk build. Definitely has some synergy there. Magneto, Dr. Octopus, Spider-Woman all make a lot of sense with just what they do in Jubilee and Lockjaw early plays. And then, of course, Thanos, guys. I think Thanos can help curve this deck out even more. It's kind of trying to do too much, so I've concentrated it only on the Patriot and ongoing build. But with having things like the Soul Stone and Onslaught, you can get a lot of nutty combinations. And then lastly, these ongoing cards. Devil Dinosaur Sarah is incredible if you Wave or Onslaught on top of her. And then Omega Red. So all these are great options. Captain Marvel works as well. Depends on the flavor of deck you're playing and what kind of build you want to have. Now, yeah, there's a lot of replacements, right? But that's the fun of the deck. It's kind of a create your own. But I've played multiple versions of the deck and I've experimented a lot. So these are going to be my favorite decks that you can build, starting with my absolute favorite. Now, I've played a fair amount of games with all of the decks today, but this is probably my favorite and by a good amount. Now, again, as alluded to in the card breakdown, really not a bad Lockjaw and or Jubilee pull in the entire deck. The only thing that I switch out from time to time is something like Blue Marvel if I want to capitalize on more ongoing synergy with Onslaught. And again, that's where you can mix and match and play Wasp and maybe something like Blue Marvel instead of She-Hulk. Now, Super Skrull or Debrii need to be in the deck, but I'll be honest, I think right now I prefer Super Skrull. Debrii simply shuts down Galactus, but Super Skrull gives them that false confidence to steal the 8 cubes right from their grimy little fingers. Now, the other version of the deck, you will have Wasp, which works pretty well. You also have Debrii and Blue Marvel to spread wide, and I actually really like this version as well. I was losing a bit more than the tall version, but it plays well if you have something like Sandman in the deck. Now, I know we have built this deck to beat Sandman, but I'll be honest, he kind of fits perfectly here. Jubilee and or Lockjaw can pull him early. And we really don't care if we can play cards with this deck. We have big, giant cards, and again, this version of the deck is meant to spread wide, which is why it performs so good. Remember, both of these are really solid decks. There's even more that I've created, but these are the ones that I've tested at least 50 plus games with, and it's one of the most consistent Lockjaw decks that I've played. All right, guys, let's jump into the turn by turn and head into the casino, starting with turn 1. Now, the admittance into said casino is usually your first couple of turns. You're not going to do an awful lot, but that's okay. You don't need these turns because the deck is built around having an explosive turn finishes for the late turns. Now, usually, your only options here are things like Squirrel Girl, if you have her in the deck, maybe Sunspot or Misty Knight, and then obviously you can have Wasp as well. You don't want to be playing Wasp, but the other ones are safe to play if you want to. We don't have to hide the fact that we're playing the Patriot because, well, Jubilee, Lockjaw are not going to hide it, and we don't either. Now, on turn 2, everything I just said for turn 1 is pretty much the same. Again, about a 75% of the time, you're probably going to be skipping this turn. But if you do have Shocker, you can go ahead and play him down or just float your energy to Sunspot. Now, turn 3, my friends, is where the fun begins. It's casino time, and there's a lot going on here. Now, you're going to want to be aiming to play the following cards ordered by the priority in which you should play them. Now, firstly, obviously, we're going to be wanting to play Lockjaw on this turn. You're going to want to play him into an empty lane. And if you happen to have Wasp as well, then we definitely want to throw Wasp into our Lockjaw. Now, other than that, Wave would be my next highest priority card, especially if you don't have She-Hulk in hand. Our deck has a lot of high-cost cards, so playing Wave down usually leads to a great card being played on the next turn. Now, if you don't have Lockjaw or Wave, then I would probably aim to play either Patriot or Debrii here, depending on the deck you're going up against. If it is something like a Galactus, then Debrii is good value, but Patriot's not bad to play here either. Now, quickly, a small note. Be careful where you do play your Patriot, as we're probably going to want to try to play that Onslaught onto him on a later turn. Now, turn 4 is officially where the craziness begins. By far the most complex turn, and it depends on everything going on. Now, on turn 4, you have a lot of options, all of which depend on what's in your hand, what's in your deck, or what's on both your side of the board and your opponent's. Now, most likely, this is the priority in which you want to play. Jubilee into Lockjaw is by far the best thing you can do on turn 4. Getting 2 cards out, both with high value, is always great. But if you can't do that, then playing Jubilee into her own lane is always a good idea as well. Now, opposed to that, if you have not played Lockjaw at this point, you can go ahead and play the good dog down now and set you up for later turns. And if neither of those are an option, then you can go ahead and play that Wave that we talked about before if she's in the version of your deck. Or Super Skrull even though I'd like to have him as a surprise card, you can play him down if there's no other options. Now, guys, a very important note here is that you always snap, ensure you snap, before you play something into Lockjaw or Jubilee. This deck is built for high power, and if you pull something like Dr. Doom and then you snap, your opponent is simply going to leave, so you need to trust the deck, and as hard as it is, you got to trust the casino. Now, depending what comes out of those luck draws is really going to determine how the rest of the game is going to play. A high power card that Patriot affects is typically awesome, and you'll most likely win that lane, or your opponent is going to leave that lane alone. But if you did pull something like Iron Man or Onslaught, congratulations, you just won that lane and most likely the game. Now, heading into turn 5, you'll need to typically react to the deck that your opponent is currently playing. If you sense Galactus, then absolutely do not play your Super Skrull or Iron Man at this point, as you'll need them to win that lane. Now, typically, I'll play something else into Lockjaw, with Wave getting the preference, especially if you have that She-Hulk in hand, as on turn 6, we can play her with any other card. But if you did play Wave last turn, feel free to do something like Dr. Doom into your Lockjaw. Now, other than that, you can play a Patriot on Onslaught, or maybe Iron Man on Onslaught to guarantee that lane, or simply Iron Man in a lane of his own will usually capitalize and set us up for turn 6. Now, if you are playing the Sandman version, first of all, how dare you, but also I get it. This is definitely a choice to play here as well. We have a lot of cards like Dr. Doom that can spread into multiple lanes, and that is why he fits into the deck pretty well. Now, if there's nothing else that you can do on this turn and really nothing looks great, well, you can simply float everything to Sunspot, again, if you do have that She-Hulk in hand, or just play the best hand that you possibly can. Now, on turn 6, guys, this is it, right? It's going to be pretty fairly obvious if you should win or your opponent has no chance, at least on your end, right? They don't know what you have. And at this point, you're either going to retreat and call it a loss, or you can go ahead and just clap them for the 4 to 8 cubes. Now, typically, you want to surprise your opponent with cards like Super Skrull or Doom alongside that She-Hulk if you did play Wave, or your big surprise card in Onslaught on one of your ongoing cards. Now, these are going to be mainly your win conditions, and you'll have full certainty which cards are left in the deck by this point. So if you do have Jubilee or Lockjaw for the casino play, it's super advantageous at this point because you know most likely what it can pull, and a lot of the times it's going to be something of value. Mainly, the only time I don't do that is if like Sunspot or Wasp or maybe Shocker, Misty Knight, any of these things are still in your deck. It's probably not worth it at that point, but most likely it's a safe play. And there you go, guys. This is a very fun deck, but it is also like extremely competitive. Just know you're going to lose some games every now and then. Yes, even some high cube games. But the cube gain is awesome if you know when to retreat. The games you do win, you absolutely stomp. And guys, I probably have gotten more 8 cube wins from this deck than others that I've played recently because your opponent is going to have no freaking clue what's going on. All right, so there you go. We have the cards, the turn by turns. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into some live battles, and I'll show you how I operate the deck. Now, obviously, this is a casino deck, so it's actually good to watch these games. Yes, there's some luck involved, but because this is more of a consistent, reliable luck deck, it's more about looking at locations and different decks that I'm going up against and then seeing how I navigate what I'm playing. All right, guys, so turn 1, as always, we're going to skip Rickety Bridge as the first location, which is a pretty bad location outside of being able to play Dr. Doom to cover our tracks there. All right, we have Monster Island as our middle location, and still we can't do anything, which is A-okay. All right, cool. Let's go and play the Patriot right side here. This guy's playing nothing, so I don't really know what's going on. It makes me feel like it's going to be a Galactus Nimrod deck. But he only has the Raft to play on, so if he plays a card here, we know it's not Galactus at that point. And we have Iron Man, so... All right, Invisible Woman. Well, hello. And we're kind of in a lose-lose situation because he can easily fill out the Raft. I think the good news is, though, I like our odds because we can do a few things. We can play Iron Man in the middle. Jubilee pulling down just about any card is going to be good for us. Outside of, I guess, Lockjaw, which is fine. Super Skrull is a fantastic card against this guy if we do pull that. And there we go. Super Skrull comes out. We get an Invisible Woman. He also didn't fill out the lane as far as just like another added bonus. Yeah, a little bit nervous, but I think we'll play Iron Man here. I don't love it. Yeah, let's go and play Iron Man here. Oh my god, we got Galactus? We got Galactus for free? What do we do? What do we do? Do we just lose? Oh, I'm so okay with this, guys. Okay, so he snapped 2, right? So I think we play Galactus, right? And then we play the Hulk. And so if he does anything crazy, good for him. If he doesn't play Rickety Bridge, we win, though. If he doesn't play Rickety, we win. And if this is like Ultron and stuff, it doesn't matter because by that point, we already killed all the cards. This could be it. Oh my god, Galactus is so toxic. Absolutely crazy. He didn't play anything. He played nothing at all. We got an AQ win. Ah! Oh, that's funny. That's awesome. That's got to be one of the more fun ones that I've had. Good job, Galactus. Proud of you, even though you weren't in the deck. Alrighty, guys, so we have Ejay here, and we've been playing our fair share of Nimrod avatars today. We've got the double sunspots going on. Gotta love it. And vibranium mines in the middle. So nothing we can do on these first few turns. I'm gonna go ahead and hope we get Jubilee or a ramp card. And now especially because we are obviously playing a Sandman deck, which is good to know. We can prep for that. Let's go ahead and play Patriot here. He does not play Electro, so that's good for us. So we can't play Super Skrull because we'd get the Ebony Maw bonus, and clearly we don't want that. I think we play Wave here, and or we float. I think we're going to play Wave, though. He definitely should have snapped there. He has Electro. I would say that's going to benefit us over this guy. And luckily, we just made Dream Dimension really not matter. We have Onslaught, Super Skrull, Dr. Doom. Because we have Patriot, I think Doom here is going to be our best play. And I think we play it over this side. And then we're going to have a free card played for us. Yeah, I don't know how we lose this. I think this is a win. I think this is a clean win, guys. We have Abomination. Like, we have a lot of big cards here. Okay, there's Sandman. Jubilee. Come on, don't be anything but Lockjaw in his value. We got Iron Man. Let's go.
I am Iron Man.
Take that. Doesn't matter, but he can win the location. Ooh, what to play? Just this, yeah? This is gonna win the left side, the middle side. Oh, man, please stay in this game. You would think he's gonna retreat here, but maybe not. Maybe he's thinking I have Odin. Nope, he's playing it out. Wow. Well, he did leader us, which is a little scary, but the Doombot held us together. He held us together with the 9 power and 26 right. Good stuff. Alrighty, so first turn in, we have a Washington, D.C., which is obviously a very good location for our deck. Don't want to snap right away and risk him leaving. Now, he got a turn 1 Bass. Typically, turn 1 Bass players, a little cocky. They're going to stay. So this is where we snap, especially because we have Lockjaw into Jubilee. Still some high roll cards down below. And, yeah, I feel pretty good about our odds here. Okay, so we are playing what I would guess is a Mr. Negative deck, which in that case, him playing Psylocke on 2 is a little scary. Not gonna lie. But either way, we got 4 energy, so that Psylocke was worthless, huh? Jubilee, honestly, is probably the best play here. And or Lockjaw into Sunspot is another option we could look at. Don't hate that. Let's go and do that play. And then we can Jubilee next turn.
I am Iron Man.
Good stuff. Well, it's a good thing we have our own Iron Man. And if we pull down Jubilee, we can either pull Super Skrull that is going to take that Iron Man effect, or Patriot potentially, or it's like She-Hulk and Sunspot, and that's just a big sad. But this is definitely, I think, the play here. But it's a tough call. I think I'm going to go with that. Well, there's the double Patriot bonus, so we're looking good there. And brutal for this guy. Look at this. Oh, man, I love you, Super Skrull. So this is now going to boost this up to even bigger. Okay, 192. Good luck with that, sir. Absolutely Godspeed. God, 1 card is just so insane. All right, so at this point, we are going to play Iron Man left side. And, yeah, this is going to be a pretty clean win, guys.
I am Iron Man.
We have 3 Iron Mans on the board. I think it's not him taking mine, me taking his. I think it is only one way. Kind of a cool interaction to look at either way. I think we just I think we just outpower him, yeah? Then again, it should be pretty easy for this guy to get big power there. Maybe we do this. But yeah, 192 with these cards, I would say that's pretty good. Alrighty, guys, so we're going into turn 1, and we have Rickety Bridge. Not exactly a good location for us. You know, we have a couple cards that can feed cards into that location to challenge it, like Debrii and Dr. Doom. Wakanda's going to be our middle location. Never bad to have a free armor. Love it when people play armor, but also love the location, right? Because we can play our big-ass cards, right, and they can't destroy them. So we're going to skip right along. No Sunspot. A little bit of a bummer, but we will live. And Fisk Tower is our 3rd location. So typically, I like to play Lockjaw into the, if I could pick him up, into the safe locations, just because you want to assume he's going to pull your bigger cards. And it looks like we have a control deck, which is going to be really tough to beat if it is a control deck because they can Professor X this location. So if we assume they're going to do that, we need to be playing it on the exact turn that he'll be doing that. And with Negasonic, he can also Professor X this location. So we kind of have a lot that we're going to have to think about. But I'm not too worried because we also have Super Skrull to do the exact same. So we're going to play Wave here. We're going to Snap. We have really one card in Sunspot. He's the only card that I don't want to pull from this Lockjaw. And if I pull him, well, then we've already pulled him, and then we can get other good cards from there, right? He plays Wave. I play Wave, but I siphon it out, so we obviously have the better tempo play there. And look at that beautiful, beautiful Abomination who's finally getting some play. And we definitely did a good challenge. So I would expect Professor X to go into one of these two locations, right? Here's the cool part. We're going to do Dr. Doom so that we can play 5s into both, and we don't technically play into this. And then if he plays Pro X here, we win. If he plays Pro X here, he wins. But we can Blue Marvel and boost it up a little bit, or Patriot even better. If he does Professor X here, it's a bit problematic because we only have one spot left of safety. But this is a super clutch play here. Oh my god. Yeah, fantastic. So here's the cool part about the deck is he's out of here. He's going to retreat this. Leader cannot copy Lockjaw lane, right? Yeah, bye-bye. Leader can't copy Lockjaw because the card they want to copy is gone. So that's a cool interaction. Talk about like a super safe play on a good deck. I know what deck this guy's playing. I have a video coming out, but there you go. All right, guys, so heading into our first turn, Kamar Taj, what a great sight to see. We are not going to snap because, well, it gives away that Kamar Taj is why we want to snap. So we're going to chill at the moment. Now, Jubilee got hit with the Icebox. Big bummer. Can't really utilize her now as far as curve goes with Kamar Taj. But that's just kind of the way that it works, right? We have Lockjaw, Patriot, Dr. Doom, She-Hulk, and still a lot of good cards in the deck. I think we'll snap now, even though the Icebox kind of hit a more key card for us. We're going to snap after we play Lockjaw anyway. So we might as well just get it over with, right? Nice. Central Park. So that obviously is going to help our Patriot out. Gotta love that. And it's at this point we will play Lockjaw into Kamar Taj. Now, like this option just because we can play Dr. Doom here and a lot of other things that we can take advantage of. And this cat's going to play Wolverine. Now, is it a Galactus deck? Probably. This does hurt him, but he's most likely going to play Killmonger. And so at this point, our main options, because this is not the Debris build, is Super Skrull, Iron Man, and Onslaught. Those three cards and Hulk can all win a Galactus lane pretty easily. We're going to play Sunspot left side. If he does, in fact, Killmonger, that means the Galactus lane is going to be one of these two. So we're just going to play Patriot into one of them and just assume which one he's going to pick. Definitely hurts to lose Onslaught. Even worse to lose Hulk, so we lost our two really powerful cards. And it looks like he's going more the Null route with the deck. Which, if I'm being honest, is freaking great for us because we have Super Skrull if we do pull him. So he's not going to be doing the Galactus at this point. I feel pretty safe about that. So the most advantageous thing to do is probably to just play Super Skrull, and the next turn we play Dr. Doom and win. I think that's plenty to be able to win against him here. And we're going to siphon out Dr. Doom so that maybe Iron Man comes out. If we pull Sunspot here, then we know it's going to be Iron Man, so even better, right? All right, there's a death. Taskmaster, big plays here. Huge plays. Can we top it? So sadly, Iron Man came out. That means Sunspot will be the one that cycles out. We'll have 14. Yeah, dude. These are going to be 7 a pop. So we're adding 14 in the middle, and we're adding 14 on the right side. And we're going to have the left side go to 9, which isn't a lot, but it's more than he has. So he also would have to play a card there. My guess is he doesn't have enough power to beat this. I don't know what he would play to beat this, so I feel pretty good. He's going to go with the She-Hulk route. Doesn't matter because we've got more power than he does. Definitely probably was not expecting these 2 giant cards to go on there. And there you go. So it's, I'll tell you this, the deck is a lot easier with a deck tracker because you can see exactly what's available to siphon in and out of the deck, right? Okay, guys, so we have the Professor that we are playing, and turn 1, we did get Sunspot, which doesn't always happen, but when it does, you got to be happy about it. All right, so we head into our second turn, can't do anything. We're going to float to Sunspot. And look at that, we're playing another Patriot deck, which aids our Super Skrull, unless they're playing Super Skrull, right? Okay, we have Wave to play on turn 5. That's obviously dandy. And we're going to go to play Patriot left side. Now, fun fact, we can copy the Cosmo there with our Super Skrull, so doing so on this location is going to be advantageous if we expect him to play Ultron. And if we play our Jubilee, it's like a 99% chance of profit. So we're going to snap.
I am
Okay.
Iron Man.
There's a lot that can happen on this turn, but it's all good. This is the easiest dubs really we've ever had. So I'm going to play Wave now, and that's going to leave us with Super Skrull and She-Hulk on the final turns. Now, I think we'll be having priority because of Iron Man and the other things that we have. If we don't have priority, no big deal. This should be a win. I'm probably overthinking it. Yeah, let's go to play the Wave. It does depend on what he plays. He goes Abomination, so this is the kind of the value Patriot that's been floating around. Old, reliable. Man, there's a lot of ways to go about it. We could do something like this, which is fine. Do the double Hulks, right? But if he plays Blue Marvel, we lose. So we go Super Skrull. And the Hulk. We would tie in the middle, and we just hope he doesn't play Ultron. Is that what we're relying on? I think so. We don't have a single Patriot card to get the bonus, though. Screw it. Oh my god, we guessed correctly. Yo, Super Skrull's insane. Absolutely insane. For fun, though, if we would have played the other one, we would have had, what, 14 in the middle? So I think we would have still been maybe okay. Probably not. Well, there you go. That was pretty freaking wicked. We got the Blue Marvel bonus on top of all the other bonuses, which is really only Cosmo and Patriot. But that pushed us right over the edge. Alrighty, guys. So we are going to go into our next game here, and we have Bar Sinister. And we're going to go ahead and obviously end our first turn. We have Fengor, which I'm going to say hello to this guy. Is he a bot? Abomination card? I'm not convinced. No, it's a Yondu and... No! Can you take down my Sunspot? How about you take my Sunspot? Yeah, okay. Keep getting my good cards, will you? You might as well take down Dr. Doom. Okay, well, all right. Well, guys, this isn't good. Well, the good news is... There is no good news. He just got Project Pegasus, so now he could play Galactus if he has it. Holy crap, man! What is this garbage? Just play Sunspot. Float it all to Sunspot. Our She-Hulk is free. So if we whiff the Sunspot, no big deal. We can beat a Galactus because of Super Skrull, actually. This would be the best game of all time. I think this is the play. Instead of playing like a Hulk in the middle, there's no point, right? We give him priority. Let's just... What the hell is happening? This is a Deadpool deck? Oh my god. All right, well, at least we know it's null at this point. So our Super Skrull's value is going to be through the roof. I don't know what to say, guys. I don't know what you want from me. Other than, it's about as bad as it gets, I would say, huh? It's about as bad as it gets. We might as well play She-Hulk on the right side. I actually love the Patriot play here. because Hulk would win. Do we want 4 Doctor Dooms or do we want 4 Patriots? That's the question, right? I think we go with 4 Patriots. We're going to snap back. Actually, that was stupid. If that was a Galactus... Oh my god, is this Galactus? Oh my god. He already played as Shang-Chi. Okay, guys, do we play Doctor Doom here, or do we play... Our Hulk is going to be approximately 1 billion power, but this guy's done a lot of destruction, so his null is going to be cracked. We're going to play the Hulk.
Enough said, bub.
That's a big taco. That's a big taco, Hulk. Crazy and Cosy. Okay, woof, guys, I don't know. So if he plays Null, we're donezo. If he plays Galactus, we're donezo. Anything else, I think we win. Super Skrull is the funny play. But there's too many ways we can lose. I don't think he's going to play Null because that's just an instant loss. Doctor Doom here is pretty hot. If he does play Null, it'll be in the middle. Oh my god. He's got to play Null, right? And I know Doctor Doom in the middle would have been probably a better play, but...
Enough said, bub.
We overthought it. We overthought it. We overthought it! Ow! Cosy, play the Doctor Doom! Alright, we're playing Don't Be Scared, and I can tell you and assure you, we are not scared, guys. Alright, so we have our 2 big Patriot cards in hand, which I don't mind having against something like a Sandman deck, because we know exactly where to play them. And we're starting to kind of pull our big cards, man. We want to make sure these are tucked into the deck safely. And so, yeah, dude, we are... Hey, you know what? We can't only show games where we have good luck. We have to show the bad luck ones as well. And, you know, make that lemonade, as they say. I hate that saying, but, you know, they say it. Okay, so we have Wave Jubilee. We have a lot kind of going on here. Jubilee into this is not a bad idea because it kills Jubilee and brings down one other card that, you know, is not terrible. Even Sunspot to that point. Wave here would allow us to play some big cards now, which is kind of advantageous for us. But we can always do that next turn. So we're going to go and play Jubilee. Probably should have snapped if this is Iron Man or She-Hulk. Alrighty, so he played Sarah, which is a big card to play right now. That is for damn sure because that's Psylocke. So he's going to be able to start dumping cards. Now, Wave is going to be our secret sauce against that. And I'm going to be honest, I still feel pretty good about our chances, right? Let's go and play Wave right now, and then we're also going to play Sunspot. And we're going to snap. We're going to play Sunspot in the middle here. We're going to snap. Next turn, he can only play 1 card, even though he can dump. And we can do both Onslaught and Doctor Doom. We can play Doctor Doom left side and then Onslaught left side. And there's almost no world where he can match that power. All right. That's problematic. We don't have Blue Marvel in this version of the deck, so I think that's the only bummer there. The good news is we don't need that lane. Doctor Doom isn't a bad choice, and then we can Iron Man the next turn. That'd only be about 10 over there, but it would be 17 with the Hulk. Yeah, dude, I still don't think this guy can beat us. Let's go Doctor Doom here. Even though we're not getting a Doom to the left, I kind of like this option. Okay, well, this changes things a lot. Wow. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. This is a tough decision. We could just play the Hulk. Bada bing, bada boom, looking pretty good, right? The problem is that he's going to probably do something more with Hazmat and Absorber Man and Odin. Who knows, right? So it might be more advantageous to steal his Luke Cage, right? If he does play Luke Cage, we would steal it, which I really like. It's a little bit risky. It's probably better to play a Hulk, but also because of our point power difference, maybe not. We're going to go into this. It's an 8-cuber, but most people that play Hazmat have a Luke Cage, man. So they're probably going to just play Luke, right? There's the Luke. Appreciate it. There's an Iceman. Is this a 6 or greater? We win. That's amazing because of the Patriot bonus. Wow. All right, so talk about a clinic, man. Talk about a clinic. All right, so Valkyrie, cool deck design. I actually dig what this guy's doing. Let's give him a fist bump. Valkyrie protects, Luke Cage and Valkyrie protects your big cards from going down. And because we stole the Luke Cage synergy and we were able to have Patriot's bonus, it doesn't matter that he brought this to 3, or let's say the Doombot even. We have Luke Cage to protect that, but if we didn't, this would still power it up. So really good stuff. And then again, he relied on that negative bonus for him to win. So there you have it, guys. That's everything that I know about Patriot Casino. Definitely not like the best deck in Marvel Snap, but really fun. And best of all, as everyone's using the same decks, it's built to beat those decks, which is a great time to play it right now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck guide. If you do and you find yourself coming back again, over 50% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. And we're closing in on 100K. It's my goal to hit that by June. So again, I want to thank you guys so much for coming by. Until the next one, good luck out there on the ladder. And of course, happy snapping.